welcome back to Memoirs and Some, the podcast. I'm your girl, Myia Dominique. And today, we're going to get into something that a lot of people don't like to deal with, and that's grief. This is losing DJ. So if you don't know, or if you already know, I'll just reiterate. I have a little brother that is named DJ, and he was killed a little over a year ago in a car accident. A 5-car pileup that was all over the news. It was all over the internet. It's still a very sensitive subject, and it's still an open case. So at that point, me dealing with all of that is a lot in itself. Emotionally, I'm a wreck. And when I say a wreck, I mean my emotions can be one way in 1 minute, and I can feel another way in another minute. And I see the change often, when I get sad. Certain things, it is just really sensitive. Although it's been already a year, it still feel like I got the call yesterday. And as I think about the situation, I still feel those same feelings I felt when everything first happened. So for those of you who don't know, a recap of the story, my brother was driving home and was getting out to help someone on the expressway. He got out to his car. The car was in the middle of the street, and he got out of his vehicle to go help that person. He helped that person move their car out of the middle of the road and was headed back to his car. As he was getting back into his car, another car was driving extremely fast, and upon impact killed him. Hit him and killed him on the expressway. And even me talking about it, it's a lot. It's a lot. It is one of those things where I don't know if I'll ever heal from it, or if I'll ever be in a great place. But I do want to say that he was amazing. He was nothing less than amazing, and I miss him. My brother did what he did, and out of all the things that he could have done, we all fall short. We all do craziness. We all make mistakes. Helping somebody, trading your life to somebody else's, was a lot, and it's hard still for me to accept. I won't even say that I'm not done accepting it. Although, I get it. I know he's gone. I know that he is no longer with me. I know that he's not coming back. But I struggle with why and how, and, I question. And it's unfortunate because we don't know how to grieve. And I say we, I mean we as a people. We do not know how to grieve. I don't know how to grieve. I'm going through the process of grieving now, and I still feel like there are things that I'm learning. There are still things that I still need to identify. There are a lot of things that are still questions that go unanswered because I'm still grieving. I'm still having a hard time recognizing and understanding that this is the new normal. This is my new normal. He is no longer here. So my brother and I grew up together, 2 peas in a pod. That was my evil twin, literally. We loved each other and hated each other all in the same relationship, and you knew it. You knew you couldn't mess with him. You knew you couldn't mess with me, but we messed with each other all day long. My mom only had us 2, so we grew up together in that single parent household with my mother, and it was rough. My mom, she did the best that she could, and I often say, that was her baby. And it was, it was her baby because he was the youngest, but he looked like my mom. I looked like my biological father, and I still do. I think there are times now growing up, I do favor my mom, but that was my mom's twin. And they act alike. They have the same smile. They have the same personality, and they equally protected each other, if not one more than the other. DJ did not allow my mom to go anywhere by herself. All it took was for him to get wind, I should say, that somebody didn't like her, was going to mistreat her or anything. Hell to the no, DJ was there. And it was hard. You know, it was hard to make that adjustment, to know that that was not going to be what it was going to be anymore. I was no longer going to have that confidant and that person to call. I call my brother for everything. DJ, guess what? This person yelled at me. DJ, guess what? This person did such and such. I called my brother like he was my dad, because it was just he and I. Although I was the oldest, he was older in a whole lot of ways other than age. DJ had a lot of wisdom because he took a lot of time into just learning. He wasn't a book smart person or like a school person. He took his time into learning people, learning situations, different surroundings. And that was what I could honestly say I probably am going to miss the most, because he was like a human encyclopedia. No matter what you wanted to know, no matter how much you wanted to know, you know, even if he didn't know, he was willing to figure it out. So those are just like some of the things, I guess, that for me, I'm just like, wow, I'm going to really miss my brother. But furthermore, I'm going to miss him. Just the physical appearance and protection of having him around. When you grow up with a sibling in your household, it's a totally different relationship. You all share the same struggles. You share the same setting for a while until you either go off and live where you live, where that sibling lives, where they live. It becomes really, really hard to understand and know that that person is no longer with you. And although when you lose people, we all get it, you know, they're not here anymore, but there's a piece of you that goes with them. And I think there was a piece of me that left with my brother that probably I will never have again. I have other brothers, I have other siblings, and I love my siblings, I do. But it was a different relationship with him because we grew up in the same household. We literally shared the same two parents. We went through a whole lot together. He was my everything, but he was also able to share being my everything with everybody else. He was also everybody else's Mr. Everything. He was such an honor to be around, to be in the. Although he would piss you off with his asshole remarks sometimes, and even sometimes with his nonchalant and sarcastic responses. But he was everybody, Mr. Everything. He was everybody's. Everybody could call DJ. He was dependable. You know, I could remember when I got the call and I didn't really want to believe that that was the situation. And it was nothing but God that my husband had to use the bathroom, and it took us a little minute to get to my mom's house. When my mom called me and she said, Myia, girl, the state police is on their way to my house. They say DJ got into an accident. They want to talk to me. And so in my head, I'm thinking, well, why the hell would the state police want to talk to you? Why not meet you at the hospital to where he's at? If he's been in an accident, you know, whether he was hurt or not, you know, you still supposed to go to the hospital. So that's what I'm thinking. So I said, wow, was he on his motorcycle or was he on his in his car? And she said, no, he was in the car. He was in his newer car. And so I said, oh, okay, well, I'm finna get up. I'll be on my way. So I got up out of my bed and I scooted to the end of the bed and I looked over at my husband and I said, I really hope my brother is not dead. And he looked at me and he said, Myia, don't say that. Don't say that. And so I got to the front door, and for whatever reason, I still was panicking. I still was very uneasy, still really couldn't understand why the state police would be coming to my mother's house. He was in an accident. He's an adult. And why are we not going to the hospital where he's at? Before we could get to my mom's house, we had gotten in the car and headed over to my mother's. My mom stays not too far from me. a couple of suburbs over. So it was about a 15-minute ride, if that. We got almost halfway there and got turned around because I had panicked so much trying to get there. This is my mama's house. Y'all know I should know how to get to my mama's house, right? I got a call from my stepfather, said Myia DJ didn't make it. And immediately my world felt like it was coming to an end. It felt like everything that was going on had just like hit me in the face. I was like shook. I couldn't believe that my brother is 24. It just would have made 25 this year, would have been his golden birthday. And I just couldn't believe like that. I didn't want to believe that was what was really going on. So after the funeral and, you know, everything happens and everybody is like, oh, call me if you need me, or I love you and I want to be there and all of those things, you still left alone. You can be in a room full of people and still feel very, very, very alone. And that's how I felt. I felt alone. And at some moments still feel very alone. Although I know I'm not the only person that has lost a sibling. But in that moment, it feels like you're the only person going through it. And when you go through those episodes and you go through those different channels, that's what you tend to feel. Like you're the only person going through this. And it's not a easy thing to understand or even admit that you really are having some issues. I went through a long couple of months of depression, just thinking about why and how could this happen and why him and how could we do things different, and did I do everything I was supposed to do when he was here? But I had to learn that God has everybody's time written down. And like I tell y'all, I am not a biblical person. I am not the best Christian. I'm not even the ideal Christian. But I try. I do believe in God, and I do give him recognition. I do give him praise. I don't go to church every week, but I do listen to the word. I listen to, you know, different churches be alive or sometimes on YouTube, and listen to different, you know, little motivational. So I have a little something, and what I will say is that the pastor that preached my brother's eulogy said something to me that spoke to me and that really, really, really showed me that it was going to be okay. He asked my mom if she would have knew she only had DJ for 24 years, would she have done anything different? My mom's answer was no. Although, yes, we all look back and we say, oh, I wish I wouldn't have did that, or I wish I wouldn't have said that, or whatever. We all go through that. Overall, though, my brother was a damn well good brother to me. And my other siblings. And I know I was a good sister to him. We didn't always see eye to eye. We didn't always get along. But our hearts were always in the right place for one another. And we believed in one another. He was very proud of me. And I was very proud of him. Going through this whole situation, this whole chapter, I should say, in life, has taught me who is really around, who really cares, who really is supporting you. And it's an eye-opener when you lose people, how you literally lose people. You not only lose that person, but you lose surrounding people, because you tend to see people's real outlook and real attitude towards you. You see the genuineness that comes from people when you go through situations like that. The grieving process ain't for the weak, and it ain't easy. It's nowhere near easy. It's hard as hell. You go through periods where you feel like, okay, I can do it. There are times where I'm sitting in my kitchen, I'm cooking, and I start crying because I often hear him say, "What you in there cooking, Big Myia?" I'm the littlest thing y'all could see, but he called me Big Myia. That was his name. And I love it. I will forever be Big Myia. You know, so those just small situations. Me cooking dinner, that's something I gotta do. I mean, I got a man, I got kids, we gotta eat. You know, so those type of things is what have you kind of really in a place of trying to figure out what's next. How do I get through this? Because you could take the grieving process, it's so crazy. You can go 10 steps forward and then still end up coming 10 steps back. Because that's how it goes. You could feel good that day. And I don't even know that death is ever something that people can kind of like get over or even be in a place of like, okay, well, I'm in. I think people get to a good place of where they understand it and they manage it. So it's like I'm content with it, but I don't know if you're ever okay. Like, okay, I'm over it. I don't know that that's ever the case. My granddaddy has been deceased since 2018. So that's what, 19, 20, 21, 22. 4 years. My grandfather has been gone. And it don't hurt no less. It's easier going to my grandma's house because, you know, for the last 4 years, we know that he's not there. But the pictures, it still don't help. You know, you still know he was here. To go in his bedroom, you know, he was there at one point. And I can imagine it's like the same way here, you know, with anybody that was in a place with my brother where they would see him regularly. I know it's hard because I know it's hard for me, and I'm his sister. This is his chain he has on. For those who saw or is watching the visual, he has a gold chain that he wore daily, and he had it on when he died. And so that was always something that I said, you know, I would wear this chain because I want to feel him in any way possible as closest to me to help me get through life. I know that he's not going to physically come back here ever. But his presence, his aura, I wanted to always be around me because he was a positive person. He helped me through a lot of things, and it's like losing your best friend. I feel like I did. I mean, it was always me, my mom, and my brother for all these years. So losing a piece of this triangle is I don't even know. It's no words for it. It's unexplainable on how to actually feel. I often think about, you know, like what's going to happen. You know, what's going to be the outlook of this case. And one of my good friends, she sat me down and she told me, Myia, if that person goes to jail, it's not going to still bring him back. And while I agree, I agree, it's not going to bring him back. Do I think whatever the punishment, the suffice punishment is, for whatever, you know, they, I guess, categorize the crime, I do feel like he needs that to be whatever that needs to be. Meaning, if the crime says that for this you get 5 years, then okay. But do I think he set out that morning to kill my brother? Absolutely not. And do I feel like he deserves to get an equal punishment? No. because accidents happen. But I do feel like he does need a punishment because you cannot break the law. It's negligent to drive that fast. And I'm not a person who drives very slow. I'm not. I drive with a purpose. I have a heavy foot at times. But you have to be cautious. And those decisions make a difference in how you do things. Those decisions make a difference in your next steps. You make one false move and one mistake, it could change your life forever. And that one mistake changed our lives forever. You know, we no longer have someone so bright, so loving, so kind, so dependable because someone was negligent and didn't think enough of his life to do the right thing. And so with that, I leave you all with that, you know, you don't know what people be going through. You don't. And you never know what a person is going through until you ask them. You know, it's easy to say, oh, you know, she lost her brother, but she doing this and she doing that. That's living. That's surviving. When them doors closed though, and Facebook is off, and Snapchat and TikTok and Twitter and LinkedIn and all that other shit, behind them closed doors, it's a grief process that comes with that. And for anyone who has ever lost anyone knows that that grief process isn't easy, especially a sibling. A sibling, a parent, a grandparent, a child. You know, I haven't experienced a living child. I experienced a child in my womb. I had a miscarriage, but that's not even nowhere near the same hurt. You're hurt, but it's not the same as when you have a person where you've grown up with them and you physically putting time into them and effort and pouring into them and loving them, and then they're taken. You do a little bit when the baby is in your womb, you know, but it's not the same. And I compared the two because those are the two that happened within the last 2 years. 2020, I lost a baby, and 21, I lost my baby, my brother. So it was hard. It was hard, and it was a situation where you need support. I have a great support system. My kids love the hell out of me. My husband loves the hell out of me. My sister, my grandmother, and I have a cousin and an aunt who I'm really, really close to, who we kind of all try to stay in cahoots with my parents to kind of be all in the same page, to kind of go through this together, because it's not easy. And when you lose, you know, a family member or a loved one, support from the family makes a difference. Losing my brother, I would have thought I would have saw a change in people, meaning family members, and just those surrounding, because love is a strong word. And so when I say I love you, that becomes an action behind it. And I didn't see it. I still seen the same mean, childish, immature ass people. And it's sad because life is short. It's really sad. Life is short, and so much goes on day in and day out. This was literally a freak accident. Nobody planned this. No one was after him. This was not a situation where he was gunned down by the police or gunned down by, you know, anybody in the streets or having any type of gang affiliations. It was none of this. None of this. And yet we still have the audacity to sit up and be as ignorant as we are sometimes with how we handle stuff. And it's sad because when you put your family on the pedestal and you expect them to do more or to give more into that situation and they don't, it creates a different level of hurt. So not only are you now grieving and you got that hurt, then to not have no support and be grieving is even worse. Now I get it. Everybody is different. People grieve in their own ways. People do things in their own ways to where, okay, yes, maybe one day I don't want to be bothered. But for people to be as ignorant as they are sometimes, and to be as immature as they are sometimes, and to allow other situations or other people influence how they do things, or how they communicate, or how they operate, or support another, it's messed up. Because life was made for us to do it together. Like, we actually are stronger together. We do it better together. But because we don't want to give others the right path or the right advice to say, you know what, yeah, that situation happened, but I'm put that to the side because this is what's going on. Because I know how to be mature enough and do that. And I've done it. I've done it on numerous occasions. And it's easier said than done, but when you get to a place where you're genuine in what you do and genuine about who you are, you don't even allow other stuff like that to phase you. So when I did lose my brother and I went through what I went through and I saw, the faces that I saw and I didn't see the faces that I didn't see, guess what? I still moved on with my life. And I know he's looking down on me so happy and so proud because I did it. And regardless as to what a person had to say, a person can easily try to tear you down and when you already in a bad place. They can. And some people intentionally do it, which is even worse. People will intentionally try to hurt you when you're already at the lowest. It's nothing else you can take from me. I'm already at my lowest. I'm at the lowest that I can go. So with that being said, you all, we're going to get into a question. Y'all know I have the end cards. This is the self edition. And the one that I want to answer today spoke to me today when I went through these cards. And it says, who do I wish could give me advice right now, and what would they tell me? Ideally, I wish I could get advice from my brother right now. I really would like to hear him say anything, but more so, if I had to speak solely to what I'm going through right now in life and everything that I got going on with businesses and writing books and opening up my non-for-profit and all these great things, he would tell me, keep going. And I would just love to hear him say, you got this, I'm so proud of you. Because that would make all the difference to me, to just hear him say it. Even though I know it and I feel it, to hear him would just be like a breath of fresh air to let me know, like, wow. Or to give me that extra reboot or restart to say, wow, this is it. Like, girl, you got it. The most important person is behind you. So that's my little spiel, y'all, on grief and losing DJ. But I just genuinely want to leave you out with this, treat people right, live within that moment, and live within what you know will manifest and what's going to make you happy. Live with that. My brother lived by that. He did what the hell made him happy. And regardless of who cared, who didn't care, he did what made him happy. I'm your girl, Myia Dominique. This is Memoirs and Some, the podcast. I'll see y'all next week, 7 o'clock. Peace.